this video isn't about that. We're looking at times from the past year when the media straight up lied to their audiences, whether to serve a narrative or push an agenda. These are 5 of the worst intentional media deceptions of 2021. Here's our first pick. 60 Minutes uses deceptive editing to generate a scandal out of thin air. In April, Sharon Alfonsi from CBS gave this report on 60 Minutes, where she gave the impression that Florida Governor Ron DeSantis was caught up in a pay-to-play scandal involving vaccine distribution in Miami. Basically, she claimed that DeSantis was taking payoffs to approve certain retailers to distribute the vaccine, but not others. At one point, they ran this clip of her confronting the governor at a press conference, followed by this angry denial from him.
The criticism is that it's pay to play, Governor.
It's wrong. It's a fake narrative. I just disabused you of the narrative, and you don't care about the facts because obviously I laid it out for you in a way that is irrefutable.
Well,
and so it's clearly not.
Except they completely cut out the first 2 minutes of his response to her, which included an avalanche of points that, if true, would disprove her pay-to-play theory. In other words, they edited his substantive answer into a dismissive dodge. Moving on to number 2. From the Washington Post, there's no migrant surge at the southern U.S. border. Here's the Washington Post's fact-checker, Glenn Kessler, pushing this non-factual article around on Twitter. There's literally no wiggle room on the numbers, by the way. Look at the CBP data on border crossings. That blue line is 2021. You could write this article at any point in 2021, and it would still be wrong. Later on, the Post changed the title to, "The Migrant Surge at the U.S. Southern Border is actually a predictable pattern." In other words, this article was supposed to be damage control for Biden. And hey, by the way, here's candidate Biden back in 2019 actually promising a surge at the border if he's elected.
I would, in fact, make sure that we immediately surge to the border. All those people are seeking asylum.
We give this article 4 Pinocchios. It's pure disinformation. Number 3. CNN lies that Joe Rogan is taking medicine intended for livestock. Joe Rogan, popular podcaster, you've probably heard of him. When Rogan caught COVID, he said he was treating it with ivermectin, which is an oral medication that people take for parasitic infections. Thing is, it's also used in way higher doses to treat livestock for worms. So CNN ran with this technicality and falsely claimed no less than 6 times that Rogan was trying to treat his coronavirus with a horse deworming agent. So, yeah, pretty dishonest. Here's where things get really twisted, though, because when the whole thing blew up, CNN's PR department gave this absolutely bonkers statement to the Washington Post. The only thing that CNN did wrong here was bruise the ego of a popular podcaster who pushed dangerous conspiracy theories and risked the lives of millions of people in doing so. So based on this statement, the people running CNN think it's okay to intentionally lie to audiences in service of a greater good. They admit to doing this, and they actually seem proud of it. I don't care what you think about Rogan or about ivermectin. You should still have a problem with CNN's behavior in this case. Moving on to number 4. NBC deceptively edits a 911 call prior to a police shooting. In April, a Columbus, Ohio police officer shot and killed 16-year-old Makia Bryant, who was moments away from stabbing another girl. All of the broadcast networks got their hands on a recording of the 911 call, and in it, you can hear the caller saying,
"These grown girls over here trying to fight us, trying to stab us."
NBC cut that part of the call out of their report. And when it came to the attempted stabbing, they only reported it as something that the police were saying in defense of the officer. They wanted this to be a story about a racist police officer gone rogue, which, for those who have been living under a rock, is kind of a media favorite. Last up, and it's probably not a surprise, the absolute worst media lie from this year was critical race theory isn't taught in schools. The media were saying this over and over for months. This is so dishonest for so many reasons. There are mountains of evidence that kids are taught race ideology in public and private schools. The Virginia Department of Education codified critical race theory by name as part of its curriculum back in 2015. Up until critical race theory became a national issue, a lot of teachers' unions and other organizations explicitly endorsed it. They've since scrubbed those endorsements from their websites, by the way. School administrators from around the country have come forward and admitted that it's in the curriculum.
Our curriculum is deeply using critical race theory, especially in social studies, but you'll find it in English language arts and the other disciplines.
And a few minutes on Google will turn up videos of teachers bragging about how heavily they infuse their lessons with critical race theory. Meanwhile, the media are doing this.
By the way, critical race theory is enormously useful. It's a graduate level construct. It's not taught in K through 12.
Again, it is not being taught in grade schools.
No one is teaching critical race theory
K through 12.
Just to be clear, can you just repeat? It is a law school test. What is critical race theory?
There's no evidence it's been taught in public schools.
It is not taught in any Virginia high school.
It's not taught in public schools.
This is sinister. We're past lying at this point. This is the media forming a united front to straight up gaslight parents about what their own kids are learning. That about covers it. This isn't a comprehensive list, but we think that these are some of the worst lies that we've heard this past year from the media. Remember to diversify your sources of news. And it never hurts to do your own research.
Cause the flag still stands for freedom, and they can't take that